Good morning, YouTubers. You guys are so faithful. You're early. Why don't you go ahead and tell me where you're tuning in from, and also, what's the weather like today? So faithful. You're early. Why don't you go Here in Charlotte, it's a little rainy. Right now, it's about 38 degrees. Going to get up to about 54 degrees today. So we're kind of getting out of winter, but I would love to hear where you guys are tuning in from, and what's the weather like. I've traveled around the world, and it's always interesting to understand the different weather climates of where I'm going. So let's hear where you're tuning in from. I see Michigan, it's probably cold there. We got Durham in the house. Lived in Durham for a little while. Love that city. Snowy in Boston, cool. I was born in Boston, Newton, Mass, just outside of Boston. We got Charlotte, Sydney, and rainy. Stallings, yeah. Australia, warm and balmy, yeah, I bet. Thanks, Australia. We got Honduras, Scotland. That's awesome. I'm from Scottish descent. Last name is Bruce, Robert the Bruce. Good morning from Chile, Thailand, Greenville, Alaska, from all over the world. This is incredible. Clover, South Carolina, South Florida. I bet it's nice there. Rock Hill. We're good to go? Awesome. Well, welcome to 7 at 7. My name is Terry Bruce. I am the campus pastor of our Elevation Uptown location here in Charlotte. And just a fun fact about Uptown, it's our downtown here in Charlotte, but it's called Uptown because of the elevation. It's actually higher than the rest of the area, so people will travel uptown. So people always ask, why Uptown? But anyways, I am the campus pastor there. I am married to Ellen Bruce. We've been married for almost 10 years. She's incredible. Next month we'll celebrate 10 years. We've got 3 little kids, 2, 4, and 7, Emerson, Mac, and Addie. They are our world, and we love what we get to be a part of together as a family here in this ministry at Elevation Church. But I want to welcome you to 7 at 7. This is our daily digital devotional where we've been exploring the last 7 statements of Jesus in conjunction with 7 Mile Miracle that our church is going through. We're looking at the significance of those statements, and this week we're diving into the word relationship. It's based off the statement that Jesus made found in John 19:26 and 27. He said this, "Woman, here is your son. Here is your mother." Jesus was uniting John, the last disciple that was with him in the end, and his mother Mary. John would then care for Mary as she aged. See, he was adopting them into this family, into a relationship, really. When I was reading Pastor's book recently, 7 Mile Miracle, which is available anywhere books are sold, you need to go get this. It will really help you. There's something on page 64 that really resonated with me. He said this, human beings were designed for relationships from the beginning. In fact, loneliness was the first human problem that God addressed when he made Eve as a companion for Adam. Today, I want to spend a few moments and talk about the power of connection. I love this picture that Jesus gave us of family coming together with John and Mary. It makes me think of my family. I come from a big family. I'm the youngest of 6. I've got 4 older brothers, an older sister. I have 17 nieces and nephews along with my 3 kids, and so I just love this dynamic of a big family. There's always something going on. There's always someone to talk to, but I also feel part of something that's bigger than myself just because of how big my family is. And I think that's a desire that most people like, to feel a part of something that's bigger than themselves. We want to belong to something. We're desired that way, and so that we're designed to be a part of that. And you can see sometimes our desire to belong to something can be a bad thing. Like you look back in your school days, you were always trying to be liked. At least I was. I was trying to be fitting in with the popular crowd, or I was trying to do anything and everything to get people to like us. I'm so glad that dies in adolescence and we don't deal with it as adults at all. I'm just joking. We all deal with the need of wanting to be liked. That's not a bad thing though. Have you ever considered your design? I've got 2 points for you today. The first one is the design. See, we're designed to be in relationship. We're designed to be connected to something. Isolation does not sit us well. The first design, though, and the order is so important, is to be connected to God. We learned this last week when we talked through the word of salvation, that Jesus paid the ultimate price for us, for dying for our sins on the cross. And with his last words to the thief, "Today you'll be with me in paradise," he gave us a window into the eternal gift that's found only in believing him and his salvation. And so with that word of salvation, the important part is that we need to get that part first. And Pastor wrapped up this incredible word of salvation in a sermon series this weekend called In the Middle. If you missed it, you need to get caught up. Go check out elevationchurch.org, or you can download our app. It's incredible. See, when I think of relationship, I think of this word design. Like I said, I also think of the Apple iPhone. So I haven't always been an Apple iPhone user. I was in the business world at Lowe's Home Improvement for 9 years. I was a PC user. I had an Android. Shout out to all my Android users, what's up? But then about 3 years ago, I repented of my Android ways and I came over to the light side, to the iOS operating system. But when you think of design, this is really well designed. It actually connects with all my other devices, iPads, computers, Apple TV. But I know that this device is only effective as the charge that it holds. How many of you guys know what this is? This is a 16-pin lightning charger. It's specifically designed to charge this phone. And this is a picture of our relationship with God. We are specifically designed to be charged up by Him. He's our source of joy. He's our source of peace. And so when we connect to Him, we get our life, we get our battery, and then we're able to connect with other devices. Now I know it's silly, I'm looking at an analogy of a phone, but do you realize that God created you? That He designed you? It's said in Psalm 139, 13 through 14. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. Did you know that you're a work of art? You're a masterpiece. He designed you. You're the only one like you. And since He designed you, He knows what's inside of you. He knows the desires that are inside of you. Sometimes we allow the desire to overcome us, and we operate out of an unhealthy place. See, we know all of the shortcomings that we have and the gifts and talents and the unrealized potential. But He has these desires in you, and desires aren't a bad thing. Let's talk more about that. It's actually my second point is desire. I talked about earlier wanting to belong, to make a difference. We all want to be a part of something that's bigger than ourselves, maybe even be used by God in some way. But sometimes the desire to belong wins out in a negative way. Maybe you just want to belong to everyone else and fit in, be cool, go with the flow, keep up with the Joneses. Sometimes we allow that desire to operate again in that unhealthy place. We throw the design out the window. We weren't designed to connect that way. We were designed to connect to God. Let's go back to the iPhone real quick. So we know that we're designed to connect to God this way. But sometimes we can't find this charger. Sometimes we don't want to find the charger. And so we look at, man, I'm feeling empty. I'm not feeling fulfilled. And we try to fill ourselves up with anything and everything. And so we look at maybe success. Man, this one's big. Maybe if I get that position, I can get a new house, and well, that doesn't fit. Maybe you look at an escape. Man, I just want to be numbed. I want to drink, drugs, whatever it is, party. Maybe you try that. It doesn't fit either. Maybe you look for fulfillment in another person, a relationship, but their heart isn't aligned with God's either, and you end up going from relationship to relationship, and none of that works. Or maybe you go to something that used to work. I know, this used to charge iPhones. This has to work. Wait, doesn't make sense. Now, we all have our things that we try to get fulfillment from and get filled up, but we know that with that design, God's the only way. And for all of these things, that's a period where I went through. I walked away from the Lord in a very prodigal-like fashion. And I was looking for fulfillment and success and popularity. I was looking for it in partying. I was looking for it in other people, and it ended up being empty relationships, leaving me hurting and broken and alone. And I remember one night I was at my rock bottom, and I was hurting and lost and broken. And in that moment, I realized I had lost my connection to God. And I felt His Spirit and His voice say to me, come back to me. Maybe you're at this place today where you're at your rock bottom, and the voice of the Lord is saying, come back to me. We try to fill ourselves with anything and everything but the right thing. God is our design. We are designed to be filled up. And when our desires don't align with God's, we need to get back to that design. We're made for connection with Him, not with all those other things. So we need to get back to the realization, just as I did, that He loves us and that He is enough. John said in John 6:35, Jesus said, I am the bread of life. He who comes to me will not hunger. He who believes in me will never thirst. God knows the desires of my heart. The desires of my heart are kind of like an operating iOS system. They're constantly upgrading. They're constantly aligning to His. And the more that I learn about God, the more that I understand I'm further away. And I want to learn more about Him because of His vast love. And I learn how much He loves me and how much He loves you. And so I pray that God would break my heart as I understand more about him for what breaks his, so that I can pastor and lead people. But sometimes we avoid the iOS update. You know when it's like you need to update and you're like, I'll do that later. Well, that's like our faith. We avoid that. And for too long, if that sits, that's a detrimental place to be. It's dangerous. We need to update our faith. We need to get connected to God and stay connected. So we know that this phone won't charge itself. We need to be connected to God first. He is our source. Then once we're connected, we're designed to be in relationship with others. We're designed to sync up devices. And so Jesus understood this. That's why he put John and Mary together in this family unit. And that's why we're called brothers and sisters in Christ, to build each other up, to be in community together. And so how can you do that? You need to get connected. So if you're near an Elevation Church location, you can join an E-team. You can join an E-group. Maybe you serve together an outreach. If you're not near a location, you can join our E-family. Join an online E-group. Or maybe you get some people around you together in your area and you start watching the sermons, talking about it afterwards, and you start walking in the same direction. You start aligning your hearts towards God's. And those desires that God put in you are for good. Now we just align them with his will. I wanted to thank you so much for tuning in this morning. I'm praying that you walk in his light today. Remember that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. He designed you for connection. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow morning. God bless.